Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB, super pumped you're here. 16th of January, middle of the month, ready to go. 48-47. We're going to have some fun this week, and I got a big one for you. We're going to be talking about sticking with it. I know we've been hitting this hard the last couple of weeks, but it's important because it's one of those things that we can fall down. And we will fall down. I call it backsliding, right? And if you haven't, fantastic. If you stuck with it and you're doing great, keep it up. But we're going to get into it this week because there will be a sticking point, right? And typically what happens when we're getting better at things is we'll grow and we'll have this good growth and then we'll plateau and then we'll grow again. But a lot of people quit on the plateau, and that's where things happen. So we're going to get into that today. I've got some ideas, and I know we've been going over this a lot, but it's important this time of year to get ourselves, staying with the things we want to do, especially when you're coming back from a retreat or a mastermind like I am, really just recharging and ready to go. Especially, you're going to fall down. I'm in Cabo. We go early mornings, late nights. And so a lot of things got all screwed up. So I'll talk about that and how you get back to it. And that's okay. And that's part of life. Life happens, okay? But we're going to get into that today. Important. Tomorrow we're in the book study. We're going to go through chapters 6 through 9. Magic of Thinking Big. Big book for me years ago, and I thought January would be a great day to handle this book. And, of course, Some of You Win the Day is a good book by John. I actually posted a link up in the Discord community. You get a chance, you can grab that book also. Recommending that as a read for this month. Wednesday, we've got Staying Consistent When Busy, or, when you're really extremely busy or you think you're busy. Okay, that happens sometimes. We got SJB on Thursday when I answer your questions on Thursday. Friday, got Wealth Building, Slow and Steady. We're getting into prosperity more on Fridays. I mentioned earlier that this is a year I really want to start generating some wealth, and we're going to talk about the 4.5% or 4% on Friday. We've discussed that before, but we'll go over to a little bit higher level thought on that. Which will be a great one Friday. You don't want to miss it. Saturday, we've got the consistency system within the framework of our system. We'll go through that. And then Sunday, we've got spiritual consistency. So we've got a great week planned. It's going to be a lot of fun. And a lot of this has to do with getting ourselves back and getting going after it, And I get it. We're going to have times when we take a break. I'm coming back from Cabo with amazing people just disappearing, right? That's what I love to do. Jumping on a plane and flying 8 hours down south, hanging out on the beach is awesome. But in doing that, everything gets out of whack. End up having a few drinks, which I'm staying away from drinking. But man, with this group, it's hard not to. They stay up all night. They're just a great group of eclectic people working together, kind of with our push, pause, play idea. You work hard in the morning, you learn a lot, you pause a lot by hanging out on the beach, and then you play at night with bands and everything they have going on. It's just such a blast. But when that happens, you got to get yourself back and get going because life happens. So one of the terms that I coined years ago, it actually comes from Christianity. It's called backsliding. And backsliding is when, you're not doing the things you're supposed to. And again, that comes from kind of a religious connotation, but I brought it over to our stuff to say, you're backsliding if you're not doing the things you need to do. And we all know that. This is a time when things start to break down, life takes over, and we stop doing the things we really stop. Between now, it's usually about 30 days and 90 days. Traditionally is when we see a lot of problems. 30 days is when it starts to break down, and that's why I'm reminding you now. And then 90 days, typically most people are done by then. So that's January, February, March, right? And they're on to new things. And we want to make sure that we're in a do month. And the thing you have to understand with what we're doing here and how we're working is we're going to check it next month. We're going to check it in 15 days. So you don't need to check it. Like right now is not a time to check. You just stick with the basic things that we said we're going to do and that we're going to start focusing on, right? So again, backsliding happens whether you want it to or not. We call it life happening, right? So if you think about me, having a trip to go down to a mastermind with amazing people is going to throw you out of whack. it just is. The flight alone, the travel, all that's going to throw you out. So you've got to get back. You got to get back and start going after it. So the thing that I always refer to here is kind of Mike Lee Kanarick or Sir. And many of you have seen Sir at my retreats or have seen him speak at my events. And Sir is, ex-Israeli Special Forces, big part of my life and getting me in shape and getting my mental head in the right place. And when I was working and training with Sir, he said, you can stop, but you can't quit. And I think that's pertinent to our idea of backsliding and sticking with it today, is that, when you're exercising and you're really working hard, and we went through some trials and tribulations, 40 hours, no food, no sleep, and 12-mile hike, swimming through black water where you can't see anything. People screaming at you, there's an alligator, there's a snake. I mean, just intense stuff. And you could stop. You could take a break. I'll never forget my bag. We were in the middle of the night, hadn't eaten anything, really minimal water. And you're just, I'm swimming across this lake, and my pack, we had to put rice in it, a couple pounds of rice. So I had rice in there, but then my zipper was open. So the backpack was filling with water. And man, I felt like I was going to drown. I really did. I was taking in water. It was nasty, and I was swimming as hard as I could. I was kicking so hard that after the hike, my calves cramped up because we had to continue on this 12-mile hike, and because I was kicking as hard as I could, just try to stay above the water. And I just kept thinking to myself, you can slow down a little bit, stop, but you can't quit. And so you tread for a little bit and keep going. Luckily, one of my battle buddy, or the person that was with me, we always go in tandem in case something does happen. In fact, Sir had to jump in the water for one person and drag him out, is that my battle buddy is like a triathlete, extreme endurance person who was just amazing. He's like backpedaling in there, and his backpack didn't fill with water, so he was doing a lot better than me, but he helped me get to the side, which was great. Of course, when we got over there, my buddy was doing great. He was relaxing. I was like spitting up water, and Sir's like, you got to do, we had a task we had to do out of that, coming out of the water. We had to climb to the top of this thing. He's like, JB, you got to do it. I'm like, I'm dying here. Send him. But I didn't say that because I didn't want to get beat up, but I did go do it. But I was dying, and my battle buddy was doing good, and we finished strong, but it was tough. And the idea was, hey, you can stop. Like, you can take a breather. And I did. I spit up the water. I took a breather, but you can't quit, right? And so same thing with us. Like, we've got to get ourselves back to it. And if you're sticking with it, that's great. I'm giving these tools to add to your toolbox. One of the things that we always talk about, and I love Denny. Denny's like, hey, I listen to JB every day, but there's certain things that don't gel with what I'm doing, or, aren't congruent with what I'm doing at that time. And that's cool. I mean, that's what's going to happen. There are people that are right on it. They're 16 days into their habits and goals, and they're right on it. And, they're going, JB, I don't want to hear this because I'm doing good. Well, you stick with it, right? But when you get to that point, you've got this in your toolbox, you can come back and listen to this. And we want to keep going. And if you're feeling a lack of motivation, this is one that I get a lot, is like, well, how do you stay motivated? Like, it's like I'm on this habit of eating right, taking care of myself, and I don't know, I'm losing motivation. Or, I'm on the writing, and I'm writing every day, and I'm losing motivation. I've mentioned this before, that investing in yourself is such a critical way to push yourself forward. It's okay to go buy a new pair of shoes or a new outfit to work out in. Or for me, I'm getting into eating better, so I'm searching for the right places to order meat online because I like venison, and my buddy didn't get one this year, and I like to eat buffalo. I eat unusual meats. That's just me. That's what I do. And so I'm looking for a great place to order those online so I can have them come in. Instead of getting them. That's the wonderful thing about online now, is you can get really cool things that you couldn't get before. So investing in yourself, writing, as I ordered the free write, and it's helped me a lot. I'm sticking with it. Obviously, I didn't take it with me to Cabo, but it's making me write more, getting the first drafts done, and it's investing. And every time I look at that thing, I feel a little guilty. It's like, hey, I got to write. Plus, it's driving me to write. So one of the things you can do is invest into yourself, invest into the what's going to motivate you. I love shoes. As you know, I invest in shoes a lot. I got some new in-home shoes that I really like, that I wear in my house, that I got, and I've got some new exercise shoes, and those things, they motivate me. So maybe there's something you need to do. Maybe you need a new pen. Maybe you need to go get a new folder system. Maybe you need a new Remarkable 2 or a new ink device or a new tablet. Sometimes those things will get you really jazzed and get you going, and it'll help, right? And so we just want to keep moving forward. That's the key. Every day, one step in front of the others. I put on Facebook the other day that I was going, I'm getting ready to, we're moving on to episode 5,000 here. And I love Greg Gant, Greg, who's been involved with a lot of stuff we're doing. His new book's coming out. Awesome. Is out, actually. Is Order in the Court. What a great name. I think we Matt and Greg and everybody at the Mastermind, we're working with him on that, and it's so exciting to see. But, he put 5,000 days of 1%, and I love that, and that's what we're looking at. We're just trying to do 1% a day. If you simplify things, it makes life so much easier, and if we just focus on the 1%, that's what we want to do. Just keep moving forward and keep going on that direction. And like I said, one of the best things about life, in general is no matter what the past is, and it's electricity in your mind, as you know, the future does not equal the past. And so we can make literally massive changes in a moment, in a day. Those of you that are brand new here, you're starting to hear this, kind of these ideas for the first time. And again, a lot of the stuff, I'm not going to take credit for everything that I say here. That would be ridiculous. I mean, everything is new is old and everything is old is new, right? And all this has come from somewhere. In fact, I've been listening to Wayne Dyer, a lot more. I go in the sauna, and one of the things I do is I love to listen to Wayne. And I'm listening to a lot of his lessons again. And I've heard them years ago over and over, and they mean something different today. So you always can get something new. But like I said, the best thing that is awesome is you could start today. You can start today. I'm coming back from Cabo and with a new energy. And that's why you go to masterminds. That's why you go to retreats. And I'm not going to check my plan because we do that in February, but I'm going to restart. I'm going to get charged up a little bit. The gym down here got the mirrors in. And we got a lot of cool things going on. Like I said, I'm looking for places to order organic, really awesome meat that I love, unusual types of food that I eat. And I'm excited. And I'm really getting into this idea, again, that Matt came up with. And Matt Kramer, who you'll meet one day at one of our retreats if you come, is the singer of Saigon Kick. And, he worked with Atlantic and is just a genius songwriter and now a vocal coach, platinum artist with Atlantic. And he's just so good at coming up with concepts. And his concept for me was push, pause, play. And I really love that because that's how I live my life. I push very hard. I work hard to get my stuff done, get the coach cast organized, build programs and systems. And then I pause a lot, and I do, and I like this. And this is the space that we need. We've learned about that in some of our book studies, right? That you need that pause, that silence, and then you play. And this is something that I've gotten on myself a little bit too much about. Not letting myself play enough. It's kind of like when I was younger and I would be so angry about not reading, fiction books. Reading fiction books. I'd be like, I don't have time to read fiction books. But now I'm learning that you got to start living life a little bit. You got to play a little bit, right? And this idea of push, pause, play is critical. And again, that came from Matt, but Matt got it from Atlantic. That came from those artists. Like, you got to work hard, and then you got to take a break and then play a little bit, as a rock star, which they were, and he is. So push, pause, play is so critical, and you can live that same lifestyle. And I think that's important, and that's what our retreats are all about. We get up in the morning, we push, take a little pause, go by the lake, relax, and then play in the night. We're doing the same thing. But we want to enjoy this process. You'll hear me say that over and over again. This is an enjoyable process. It should be about growth. You should be loving life as we go through this. There's going to be ups and downs. You're going to backslide. You're going to fall off of your plan. And that's okay. Like I said, the best thing about life is you go to sleep and you wake up and there's a whole new opportunity to move forward. And I got to tell you, tomorrow's not promised. I got a message a couple weeks ago that one of my friends, Scott Wilson, known him forever, had challenges, went through diabetes really bad and lost a leg, and then, had his second leg amputated. And it's tough for me to even talk about, and didn't make it out of that. I can't think of the pain and the suffering that he went through. But after his second surgery in his leg, he's just no longer with us, and he's not in suffering anymore. And I take pleasure in the fact that knowing Scott's not suffering, but I think about his situation. I think about the opportunities that we have in front of us. And it's really kind of a slap in the face to those that are really suffering, that we don't go out and do the best we can and play and enjoy it, right? Because tomorrow is not promised. And I think that's what we got to do. Enjoy this entire process of everything that's going on, and just find that reality of doing your best. Push hard, give it all you got, then take a breather and really understand that you got to stop and smell the roses once in a while and really enjoy life in general, and then play. Be childlike, have some fun, be strict with yourself. Don't step too far out of bounds, but give yourself that opportunity to play. And when you do that, life is just getting so much better. And again, it's not about what we attain. It's about who we become and how we grow. And the reality is that we have opportunities, and we do, and we've got to go out there. So rest in peace, Scott. Love you, brother. The suffering's over. And it's just a reminder to all of us that, go out there and live your best life. And that's what we're going to do. Tomorrow is not promised. So let's get off to a great week this week. Let's start over if you have to. If you're sticking with it, then just stick with it. Let's keep the energy going, and let's push, pause, and play. Let's enjoy this process. I love you. I'll be back with more tomorrow right here on morningcoach.com. Get out there and live your best life. Hey, you listened to the end. That is so awesome. Really appreciate you being a part of this any way you can support us. But I want to tell you about two of our programs. We got Ignite, which is an amazing program, comes with your black belt system, planner, everything you need to really live your best life. Great one for those of you that are in corporate and rolling. And then we have the Freedom Program. The Freedom Program is for those of you who are in business that are looking for residual and passive income. Two amazing programs. You can get daily coaching with me. That's how you hear me saying I've done Mondays for free since 2009. But then the rest of it comes with our coaching packages, which you can find over at morningcoach.com. You're not going to find a better deal in the world for this type of coaching. And I can't wait to work with you. So head on over to morningcoach.com. You literally can get started today. All you got to do is click that join button, pick either Ignite or Freedom, get in our system, and let's get rolling. I love you. Go do it to it. And I can't wait to work with you over at morningcoach.com.